Welcome to Girl Talk. We are filming here at the Vinery. I'm going to do it. Off East Wash.
Finally! You know, when we were driving here, I actually saw a business that said something like East Wash Laundry. And it's like, I got to take a picture of that for Jessa.
No, it's on billboards. I have to admit that the East Wash slang is taking. I can't help it.
We always abbreviate it, and it doesn't, I don't even realize it.
I don't
You
either.
don't even notice it, but I notice it. I find it kind of funny.
Yeah, we'll get you there.
We're off of East Wash. We're talking with the folks from the Vinery today, and we're talking a little bit about classes that you can take here. I'm super excited to chat with these folks.
Me as well. I am going to come. I think it's the first Thursday
Yes.
of every month they do a women's
Ladies' night.
Ladies' night.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to bring my employee and a friend of mine, and we're going to do like a team building activity.
That's an
here.
awesome idea.
It is, and it's like super affordable.
Yeah.
And you can create something absolutely gorgeous.
And take it home?
Yeah.
Hopefully. It'll turn out gorgeous.
And I think what's kind of interesting about the Vinery is, okay, a lot of people out there think it's a winery. Have you gotten that feedback?
Yeah.
Like, I'll say where we're going, and a few people say, oh, is that a winery? Or they serve wine, right? They
Right.
make wine.
It's
But
illogical.
You can bring wine. And
Yeah.
you can have girls' night.
Ladies'
It's a
night,
ladies'
you
night
can bring
with a bottle of
BYOB.
wine. So you
Yeah.
get to do both. So
There
that's
you
really
go.
exciting. We're not just talking about wine and ladies' night. We'll talk about other classes that we have. We've lost all focus.
There we go.
But we've got a great show for you today. So we are also talking about an interesting topic, especially if you've ever had a kind of a creepy visitor in your home. We're talking about space clearing, but it's not just about having a creepy visitor in your home, and I'm talking about the external, maybe spirit that could be lurking, but we're also talking just about energy.
Right.
So energy is a huge part of our everyday lives, even though you may not see it, it is there. And it's interesting that there are ways in which you can bring in positive energy into your home.
It's just really interesting, and it just always makes me think of the scary movies you see, and they've got the sage and you know,
Yeah.
getting away the evil spirits.
I
But
did that to an apartment once.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. What did you do?
Well, I thought that I had a creepy spirit in my apartment in Monona, and a friend of mine brought over the sage and lit it, and I didn't ask him to, but it felt good.
Yeah.
It felt better.
That's kind of neat that your friend just took the initiative to
Yeah.
help you with your new space.
Yeah,
go.
I would never have thought of that. But
if it worked.
Well, it made me feel better, so.
So in one way or another, it worked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, that's right. Hey, that's a good point. It's just about your attitude changed, excuse me. So we got another great guest that's coming up after the break. We are talking about boxing. Have you guys ever done boxing?
I've always wanted to, but what I think is really cool about Campus Club as well is that it's no contact, which I think is always what kind of scared me away from it, because you know, I didn't want to get beat up with no experience.
And lots of people come into this place without experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's any inspiration, but I wrote down her name. Clarissa Shields was in just these Rio Olympics recently. First American to have 2 gold medals in boxing, and it's a woman too.
So if you need some motivation,
Yeah.
love
Even
it.
an Olympic sport, but a great exercise. We're going to learn a little bit about how you can get involved. No experience required.
First time free.
It's coming up after the break here on Girl Talk. Stick with us. We're here at the Vinery.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We are having just an awesome time here today at the Vinery Stained Glass Studio, as always.
Giggles already.
Right? We're always having such a good time here. And so we'll chat with them a little bit later, but first we are joined by Melissa Ernst, and you are with Canvas Club Boxing, and that's over on Monroe Street. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And now you're one of the founders or co-founders, and so we're just going to dive right in here. Why did you want to bring a boxing studio to Madison?
Yeah, well, it started off kind of just personally. I started boxing for my own workouts and just fell in love with the intensity of it and kind of the mental aspect of the workout. It was just nothing like I'd ever done before. So I started researching different gyms around and going to Chicago and checking things out in New York, and just kind of saw this boutique fitness trend coming and wanted to bring it to Madison.
I love it.
Yeah, what a great way to be an entrepreneur too in a fitness industry. I think that's wonderful. And let's talk a little bit about some of the differences in the workout, because obviously there's, you've got your ideas of what boxing is all about. We're waiting for you to try your left hook on Janet. Right? Other than the left hook, what makes it kind of a different workout? It's got to be kind of empowering.
Totally, that's the perfect word and what I use all the time when I talk about it. It's when you walk in, it's this old school feeling, and you're kind of like, what did I get myself into? But then once you get over by that heavy bag and you start hitting it, it's just this sense of empowerment and kind of this mental clarity that comes from the workout that I think sets it apart from anything else most people have done. It's a group setting, but yet it's an individualized workout, and you're kind of competing against yourself, and you're learning something new every time because nobody here has boxed, so it's everyone that walks through the door is a novice, and so we really go through the basics of boxing and teach kind of the whole from beginning to end, and you learn a lot and you're challenged throughout the whole class.
I think that's a good point to make, that most of the people that walk through your door are beginners. So
Right.
this isn't something where you have to feel like you have knowledge coming in.
Right.
Exactly.
No pressure.
And what a great time for you to open right on the heels here of the Olympics, and Clarissa, what's her name? Clarissa Shields, I saw, did so well, and so that's good for you too.
Yeah, she won her second gold.
So you touched on the mental and of course the physical benefits of this sort of workout. Can you elaborate a little more on the mental, and how are you seeing that sort of manifest in people?
Yeah, totally. So we do some one-on-one work during the classes where our instructors are holding pads, and that just takes an amazing amount of concentration and focus, and it kind of takes you out of your mind, I like to say. Like, it makes you just be present where you are.
We need that so much.
Right.
So much. Yoga is great for that too, but I just find that boxing has just taken it to a different level for me, and it's therapy. It's a therapy session for a lot of people.
You really can't let your mind wander when you're
Exactly. You don't want to get hit, and you don't want to hit the other person because we are no contact. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is it like taking a class at Canvas Club, or what should people expect if they do want to sign up?
yeah, we work in 3-minute rounds throughout the class. So you'll come in. We always start with a warm up in shadow boxing. Shadow boxing kind of gets you into the mindset of a boxer. We go
what
over
is that?
form. Yeah, so you'll learn how to throw a jab, a hook, a cross, and uppercuts, and that'll kind of be just your basic punches that we'll use in combos throughout the class. So it's basically you in front of a mirror just practicing your form.
Nice.
Kind of sets you up for the class. Yeah, and then you'll work in rounds and hit the bags, you'll hit the ring, and like everybody loves stepping into the ring because nobody has been in a ring before in their
Right.
life. So it's
I
a
haven't.
very like cool feeling when you step in that ring.
No
So,
kidding. I didn't realize that you actually have that like real life experience
Yep.
then to be able to go in to the ring. I'm like picturing you just in front of a mirror or
Right?
something. But
Yeah.
how incredible is that? So I also want to say too that you're teaching all these different moves, and I think if you have an idea of what those moves look like, you might know what they are, but you're teaching the proper technique, which is, of course, the important component
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Really quick before we go, what's the best way for people to get started or find you?
Yeah, come. Your first class is free, so sign up at canvasclubboxing.com. Sign up for your first class. Everyone's welcome to any class. There's no different levels, so try it out, and I think you'll love it. Yeah.
Awesome. And people can find you over on Monroe Street.
Yep, down on Monroe Street across from Trader Joe's. So
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Melissa, thanks for being with us
yeah,
today.
thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. And Girl Talk will be back with more. We're with Mimosa Books and Gifts right after this.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. Thanks for joining us. We're filming today at the Vinery on East Washington Avenue, and we are going to chat with the owners a little bit later about classes and what all they offer inside. But right now, I think all know how good it feels to finally clean out that closet or organize a drawer. Well, it's said that clearing out our energy around us and within us is also really helpful. And here to talk to us about that is Ashley Levy. You're with Mimosa Books and Gifts.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So ancient cultures have done this practice regularly for years. Tell us about energy clearing and what it is.
Sure. So space clearing is really about shifting the energy in your environment, like your home or workplace, from something that's negative or kind of stagnant to something really positive and uplifting.
Sounds good already.
Yeah, right? So how is space clearing actually done?
You know, the most common way is actually the oldest and most ancient, and it's about burning herbs, different herbs like sage, sweetgrass, lavender, cedar. These are all traditionally things that were burned because it was thought through that process of burning, it was purifying the energy and removing that negativity and then replacing it with the positivity from those sacred herbs.
I like that, but this isn't just like in the scary movies, right?
Totally
Where they're
not.
burning sage to get rid of the spirits.
No,
This is just to bring positive energy.
Yes, this is
Okay.
something that many, many people do, although we do get questions sometimes about those other things.
Do you?
I'm actually
Interesting.
glad that you kind of brought that up
Yeah.
and clarified that, because I think it probably could work in both ways. I mean, you probably, in the extreme case, you might have somebody that is interested in, maybe a lingering something
Right.
or another if they've bought a home. But just, for the everyday use of having that positive space.
I like
Yes.
it.
And talk a little bit about maintenance too. So
Sure.
you come in and you do some of these things, you get the right tools in place. How do you keep the energy in the space positive after you've done an initial clearing, and maybe keep any weird energy from coming back?
So a great way to do this is actually through symbols. So if you think a lot of people have small altars or things like that, little statues of different deities, or it could be a picture of Archangel Michael. It could be a traditional symbol like a hamsa, a protective hand. But putting a little protective symbol or a little sacred space in your home is the perfect way to keep the energy nice and pure.
That's so easy.
Interesting.
I think I've seen that also like around doorways as
Yes.
you enter a home.
Yes, it's very common.
And what an interesting idea if you're buying a new home or moving into a new space to,
Or
we've
an old home.
yeah,
That's what I think of.
Right, right.
But we talk about clearing out the old so you can make room for the new. This is sort of clearing out the negative and inviting some positive. So after you've done a space clearing, can it be affected by other people or new events that are subsequent?
Yes, so when, like you said, when you move into a space, it's great to do a space clearing. But there's emotionally charged energy everywhere we go, right? So big family fights or, little nitpicky things, those can turn into lingering negative energy. And so clearing your space regularly, maybe about once a week, can be really beneficial to just keeping everyone's mood nice and positive.
Very interesting. So what if you take all of the steps and you're just still feeling like things are off?
There are professionals that you can call for help. A lot of people just don't feel confident doing this kind of work themselves. So there are tons of resources in Madison of places to go or people who actually do space clearing professionally. People will come out to your home, do a little cleansing ceremony followed by a house blessing. And this is becoming more and more popular for a lot of people who are interested in keeping their energetic space positive.
Oh, yeah, a couple thoughts come to mind on that. One is, it's so fascinating to me that this energy, it's really there and it exists, and it can affect your space and your attitude. And I find that to be a topic that is really hard to cover in 5 minutes. But you did a great job. But also at Mimosa Books and Gifts, you are a resource yourself for people with questions on this kind of topic. Everybody that works there really has a lot of knowledge about these kinds of things. So what do you suggest if somebody has further questions?
Come on in and talk to us. We'll walk you through the whole process or recommend a professional who can come out and help you.
I love it.
Sounds great. Thanks, Ashley. This is
thank
Ashley
you.
Levy. She's with Mimosa Books and Gifts. We'll be right back speaking with the folks here at the Vinery.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. If you're just tuning in, we have been filming here at the Vinery Stained Glass Studio. We're off of East Washington Avenue and love being here. We've had such a fun time. It's almost hard to introduce you because you guys do so much. This is such a unique space, and to me it's really a studio of creativity and a place to sort of let your mind unleash and create something wonderful, or have you create something wonderful.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, isn't it? It's tough. So we're joined by Denny Berkery, who's the owner of the Vinery, and Josh Krogman, who I think I introduced you last time as Jack of all trades, Josh of all trades.
Master of all of them as well.
Yeah, Yes. We got a lot to cover, but first of all, thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you
Oh,
for being
my
here.
pleasure.
We
My
greatly
pleasure.
enjoy it. It's a gorgeous space. There's endless possibilities. My creativity is flowing. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the classes that you have to offer to start. So let's start there with everything we're covering today.
Oh, great. Well, I'd be glad to start with that. And we do have quite an offering for September and October. Our mainstay is stained glass, and we have beginning stained glass classes and intermediate, which start in September. And then along with that, we have a whole slew of different fused glass classes.
Bunch of
And some of those are the strip bowl, and we'll show you this a little bit later, but we have basket weave, coral bowl, a Jaws class, which is...
Coral bowls.
You like the coral bowl? Okay. We have this one called Jaws, where we take a mold and you cut individual pieces of glass with them kind of sticking up to points, thus the name Jaws.
Sure.
And when we fuse it, those melt over and create sort of a dimensional image in the glass. And then after we fuse it, we slump it into a bowl. So, you think of anything else that we've got on tap?
We have a retro wave plate and a stacked plate, a few other options
Yeah.
for viewers.
I think I was mentioning before you joined us that that's one of my favorite things to look at here when I come and look around is all of the beautiful bowls and plates and things that you can actually teach us to make. I think that's fascinating. And then use and then have as decor in your
Yeah.
home.
Well,
Absolutely.
and I might mention that there's no previous experience necessary. That's
Also
really
important.
important because a lot of times people come into the store and they'll say, oh, I'm not an artist, I have no skills. Well, this is a place to come because you can just relax and we'll help you develop those skills.
Right.
And
And I
so
would disagree
rewarding.
that if those who say they're not artists, right? This is how you become
Definitely.
one. Yeah.
You'd be amazed what you can do with a strip of glass. Just
Absolutely.
a strip of glass.
That's great. So in addition to your class offerings, can you share a little bit about what's going on with your custom stained glass pieces? What are you currently working on?
So we have a few church restoration pieces. We actually drove 2 hours north and pulled some windows last week to get restored.
I'm sorry,
we're gonna-
pulled some windows?
Pulled some
Yeah,
church
it's-
windows.
no big
The
deal.
exciting part of the job, standing
Another day.
15 feet on a ladder, taking out church windows
Wow.
is fun part. So we're going to be rebuilding those, and then there's some other windows that we're currently working on that are going in some big, beautiful copper light boxes that are
It's incredible.
kind of halfway through the process right now.
I'm envisioning it in my mind.
Well,
it already looks amazing.
I know. I'm envisioning the finished product, but
Yeah.
I don't even understand. So we go from talking about making something that is small and potentially handheld, or a bowl or a plate, and teaching us how to do those kinds of things, to making these incredible pieces of gorgeous stained glass. I mean, we can see some stained glass windows throughout the store here, and they're just incredible. So imagine what the final product looks like on a church or a building like that. But you can do this for people. So if someone wants to have a piece made, how do you do it? What's the process?
All right, I think I can handle that.
Okay,
Yes.
he's got us.
So when a customer comes in, first of all, we have to figure out what in the world they want us to make for them. And so I have pattern books and ideas and things like that. We have plenty of samples here in the store. So we walk around and we try to kind of pinpoint, what they're looking for. And then once I feel like I have a sense of what they want, then we'll draw up a full-size design. I always do it in pencil. I tell them they can come in and take a look at it. And if there's something that needs to be changed, we'll change it then. So once we have that, then that's sometimes the easy part. Then we have to go through the color selection. And sometimes people get stuck with that, but have a method where we'll create a palette together, and then we'll actually cut out a portion of the window and let them come in and take a look at it.
Oh,
That way they know, and when I get done, I know they're going to be thoroughly thrilled with what we've created. So once they agree on the color selection, then we go ahead and we put it together, and thus they have a beautiful window for their home.
Wow, and there's so many colors just looking around. That's one of the things that I think is so uplifting of coming in here, is looking at all the pieces and all the beautiful colors. I mean, it seems like the possibilities are almost endless and the combinations are almost endless. It's incredible.
If you can
That's-
think of it and create it, we can create it and build it, yeah.
That's cool.
Well, and that's what keeps it exciting,
Yeah.
because every piece we do is different.
And not only create it, but you can repair it as well.
Definitely.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what goes into repair and what you can do here?
Josh is the repair
So we
guy.
do have those church restorations that we just got in, so it could be something large like that. We did work on some Tiffany lampshades not too recently.
Tiffany style.
Tiffany style lampshades, yeah, they're going off to auction. So restoration pieces like that. Some other people brought in some old church windows that are getting resized, let's say, and
Okay.
fit into different shapes.
So your workshop back there, I mean, is it like a padded floor? 'Cause I can only imagine when you're carrying around this Tiffany lamp. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't happen. Yes.
We call them patience builders sometimes. You just got to make sure you have a focused mind and a good, sharp, clear intention on what you're
Sure.
doing, and watch everything that goes
Working
on.
with glass is probably never a dull moment.
No, not at all.
Okay, a couple things we got to get to before we go.
Correct.
One is we're coming back. So we're really looking forward to joining you for several episodes to come. What kinds of things can we expect to learn along the way?
Well, I thought for some of the next episodes, what we could do is feature a specific project of a class that we're teaching and go into it with a little more depth so people get a sense of what that's about.
Awesome. I can't wait.
yeah.
And
I'm
then-
coming to Ladies' Night.
And Lisa's here for Ladies'
First
Night.
Thursday of every month,
Every
correct?
month.
We gotta go. But I want to make sure that we mention before we leave that if you have seen this show or you mentioned that you've seen the show, you're going to offer $5 off for
On any class that we teach.
any
any
class.
class.
Yeah,
So there
so-
you go. You're excuseless.
And they're already super affordable, so that's a great deal.
Well, you guys are wonderful. We love being here. Thank you so much for having us. You've been
Thank
lovely
you.
hosts.
Thank you.
We also want to thank all of our guests for joining us today, and thank you for watching. Join us next time for Girl Talk.